Welcome, friends. This is Harshit Parekh inviting you to listen to some of my short writings on various topics. I hope you will have a good listening. This is a audio tape number 142. I have just completed reading this book, A Vision of the Sacred by Sunanda Patwardhan. This is an interesting book written with maturity of wisdom and honesty. Sunanda met Krishnamurti for the first time in 1947 at Madras. She was 22 years old at that time. That was the turning point in her life. Krishnamurti said to her, quote, "You are like a frog in the well. You have not traveled or seen anything beyond Madras and South India. Take a year off, come to Pune, Delhi, and other places where K will be giving talks. Meet people, observe, and then you will find out what you want to do." Unquote. Sunanda started traveling with Krishnamurti in India and met many people. She met Pama Patwardhan in Pune in 1947 and married him in 1949. From 1952 to 1960, she worked as Krishnamurti's professional stenographer, looking after his correspondence, making notes of his talks and dialogues, and typing them out. Sunanda completed doctoral studies in sociology and taught at University of Pune up to 1969. She became a member of KFI in 1969. She started editing and publishing Krishnamurti's works in India and edited KFI Bulletin. She lived in Delhi with her husband Pamaji, who was the executive director of Orient Longman Publishing House. In 1975, Sunandaji and Pamaji moved to Bangalore. They visited Ohio and New York in 1976 to attend some conferences of Krishnamurti with scientists and psychologists. At Krishnamurti's request, she took charge of Vasant Vihar in Madras, which was neglected for many years. Sunandaji and Pamaji worked hard for 10 years to make Vasant Vihar a good and vibrant place for Krishnamurti's visits, publishing books, arranging talks and dialogues, etc. Krishnamurti was affectionate and encouraging to Sunandaji, but during his last visit to Madras in 1985-1986, he felt that their work was not satisfactory and they had got attached to their positions. So Sunandaji and Pamaji had to leave Vasant Vihar with some resentment. After Krishnamurti's death in 1986, Achyut Patwardhan, Pamaji, and Sunandaji took the responsibility of creating Sahyadri School and Sahyadri Study Center, which started functioning in 1995 and 1998 respectively. Sunandaji passed away in 1999. Sunandaji writes clearly about some facets of Krishnamurti. Quote, "Krishnaji was very much human. We often do not expect him to be so, for we imagine a person of enlightenment to be all sorts of things. We are quite surprised and shocked when the image we had did not merge with what one saw. He had many facets, some paradoxical, and some even contradictory. He was compassionate and yet seemed remote and harsh in his relationships. He appeared aloof, yet when one knew him, he could be close and easily approachable. Distant and near, affectionate and admonishing, he was a person of whom one could never really say, I have known him. There was something in him that one felt could never be touched or understood. That otherness gave his actions and behavior at different times and different levels an unknowable quality. That is why I could never make any judgment or remarks about him, although I was aware of apparent contradictions. Next article. Krishnamurti has said something like this very often in his talks. Quote, I am not your guru. I am not an authority. There is no authority in the field of learning about oneself. Do not agree with what I am saying. Find out for yourself what is this self? How does it come into existence? One can only describe, but description is not the real truth. Nobody can help you. You have to find out for yourself by keenly observing your own self in daily relationship with family, friends, society, nature, etc. Unquote. When I came across a book of Krishnamurti, The Flight of the Eagle, in 1972, it had an immediate impact on my life. Through his words, I began to look at my inner world with great curiosity. I could find out for myself that what we call I or me or ego or self comes from thought. Thought creates the thinker or self, and then thinker tries to change thought. The duality between the thinker and thought is the source of all our psychological problems like fear, anger, jealousy, conflicts in relationship, etc. Just one insight is enough to see how problems are created by unobserved thinking in our daily life of relationship. When this insight is stabilized, the quality of the brain changes. One begins to observe beauty in things and people in clarity of silence. One can describe how one observes everything without self or thinking coming into existence, but description is like a menu in a restaurant. Krishnamurti's words are just like a menu. One must learn to cook by oneself. Then menu or words of the teachers are not necessary. When a person is able to see clearly what is hidden under the words, one can also see if what Krishnamurti and other teachers are saying, whether it is true, partial truth, or conditioning. One does not get carried away by the power of personality of a teacher and his emphatic or forceful way of speaking. It seems to me that some admirers or followers or devotees of Krishnamurti get carried away by his personality and they think that Krishnamurti is always true. Krishnamurti cannot be wrong because he was completely unconditioned. I do not agree with such a view. Krishnamurti had his likes and dislikes in his daily life of relationship. Krishnamurti had a strong idea about gurus. He spoke forcefully against gurus to shock or warn followers or devotees of such gurus. People who are followers of Krishnamurti are disturbed too when Krishnamurti is criticized. Some can become angry or violent too if they are strongly attached to the image of Krishnamurti they have created. So there is no authority in this field. One has to find out for oneself if thinking is an enemy or friend, if image making is harmful or a creative expression. There is no intelligence in just quoting Krishnamurti and worshipping him and thinking that he cannot be wrong. Each human being is unique. Each guru is unique. Krishnamurti was a guru because gurus teach how to live happy, healthy, creative life. Some gurus have been found to be fake or corrupt. Some were simple and clear and not interested in giving talks and writing books, creating organizations with money and becoming famous.